Hi, this is Larry Hatch for the fourth episode of the Great EV Con Game, devoted to exposing the EV evangelists and their BS, nonsense, spin, hype, and outright lies about how perfect EVs are in terms of the environment, efficiency, price, saving the planet, all that stuff. Well, they might save the planet someday, but they're definitely not ready for prime time, and they're definitely not ready for most of us, since only 48% of Americans are interested in buying a new EV, and in the studies, quote, all the problems. You see studies that say 71% of people around the world want new EVs. That's based on just that question. It's not like, would you want it if they fixed the problems? No. When you ask Americans, at least, if you want a new EV, the way things are today, it's only 48% or less. I've seen numbers that are lower, so I'll give them 48%. Today's main topic is battery degradation. And it's not specifically about range, although they are two related topics. We'll do a separate video on range per se, but this is about just the performance of the battery in terms of its lifespan, and not necessarily range in particular. So, the first thing is studies have shown the average life is 5.2 years. EVs have actually been around for a while. So this is a value based on Florida, which is a warm climate. It's not a cold climate, and so 5.2 years. But that's not a lot. If you bought a car with a 72-month loan and you were only going to get 5.2 years out of the ICE engine and had to replace it, you'd be a little PO'd, wouldn't you? We know from Tesla Model S's that battery replacement can be $20,000 or more. So it's not cheap. It's almost like buying a used car to keep your new car going. Now, people say, oh, but there's warranties. The minimum EV battery warranty in the United States is 8 years. And in California, it's 10 years by law. But is that being honored? And that's where the scam goes into it. Basically, there is no replacement of batteries for lowered performance, degradation, and so on. So they only honor this 8 to 10 year warranty if you harass the heck out of them and the battery completely fails. The battery pretty much has to fail completely or render the vehicle in a what ICE cars would call a limp mode, where they basically just don't function as normal vehicles. So those warranties are only as good as they're being honored, and we know from cars that have caught on fire, yes, they will honor that. In some cases, if the insurance doesn't cover it first, well, I'm sure the automaker's insurance covers it, but they will not honor these warranties for battery degradation, which can be low over time. I want to bring attention to the VinFast model. VinFast is a Vietnamese company that's building SUVs here in North Carolina. And they have a battery rental model, which initially people thought was kind of crazy. But the more I think about it, it might make sense for some people. Not everybody, but some people. So basically, you buy the car for less money, and then you rent the battery for, I think it's like 80 to 200 a month, maybe averaging like 125. So if the battery degrades more than 80%, they'll give you a new one. So they'll just they can tear it out in a few minutes, literally, from told, and they'll give you a new one. So you have a battery subscription, so to speak, monthly, and if it degrades more than 80%, they're going to give you a new one. You also have the option that you can upgrade to a higher performance level. Maybe you want to spend $80 or $100 more a month and get the higher performance, or higher range model, you can do that. Or maybe if you spend that money and have some financial problems, you say, oh, geez, I can't afford $200 a month for a battery. When there's all this charging money going on, I'm going to downgrade my battery to the $100 model or something like that. So you can go up and down in performance and range, and they will, as I understand it, give you a guarantee that you'll have 80% of the original performance, or they'll replace it. One of the weird things about the EV industry, and I call it a scam. Some people will call it a spin or a sleight of hand, or it's basically a case of having your cake and eating it too. They say to eliminate battery degradation, minimize rapid charging. Well, isn't that a mandatory feature? Isn't that one of the things they brag about? Is it, oh yes, you can charge this car in 30 minutes or charge this car in less than an hour. But then they tell you, if you want your battery to last a reasonable amount of time, you got to minimize the rapid charging. That's like buying a watch and saying, this watch is very accurate. But the more you look at it and tell time with it, the less accurate it's going to be. Or, this steak is really great, but the more you eat it, the worse it's going to taste. I mean, really? Minimize rapid charging is what you need to do to keep these batteries stable? That's ridiculous, because that's a selling point, and then they try to take it away from you once you have the car. Maybe that's bait and switch. I don't know. Have your cake and eat it too. Bait and switch, spin, scam. You decide. One of the cars that's been around a while is the Nissan Leaf. Should have capitalized L in Leaf. They've determined that its range can go down. I got that wrong. No, that's right. Its range can go down as low as 15.7 miles after 10 years. Some cases it's 40. So let's say it's 15 to 40 mile range on one of the older Leafs after 10 years. I mean, that's sort of like a city car. That's not even a real car. So that's one of the examples of, I admit it's older technology, but a lot of people put a lot of money into their Leafs. I guess it's Leafs, not leaves. And they're getting range as low as 50.7 miles after the 10 years. Oh, that's lovely. And then our last point is there's no replacement warranty for lowered performance and range. They only replace the battery if it fails or catches on fire or starts smoking or something. So your lovely 8 to 10 year warranty protection on your battery is only for failure, massive failure, and not for degradation. So don't let them fool you. Okay, I'll admit, on a nice car, yeah, you do need a tune-up. You do need some new spark plugs. You do need change some filters. But we're not talking $20,000 worth of work. I recently had my old ice car rebuilt. The engine rebuilt. It was $3,400. But I couldn't even get half of a Tesla battery for that kind of money. Couldn't even get what could I get? Not very much. I couldn't get a seventh of a Tesla battery replacement for $3,400. So my engine is like new, and it was completely rebuilt for the most part for $3,400. You're not going to get an EV manufacturer giving you new batteries and new motors in that kind of price range. So that's that. Let's kind of end on maybe a more humorous note, although for some of you this would be serious. And this relates to battery degradation. There's a whole industry. I'm not going to say it's a cottage industry. It's apparently a really big industry. Lawyers are getting into EV lemon law. And this particular firm is the first one I saw, so I'm going to give them credit for that. They have a whole website that explains what the lemon laws are, especially in California, what are problems with EV cars, how they can represent you in solving your EV car failures and problems. And I notice this happens in many states. I mean, lemon laws have been around for a long time, but with EVs having so many problems, there's an entirely expanded legal industry to, quote, protect you in the event your EV is a piece of you know what, or a lemon. Let's call it a lemon. Paint it yellow and call your lawyer. Um, and yeah, uh, so I thought that was kind of funny, but I know it's not. It's serious. You know, you put 50, 70, $80,000, $100,000 into an EV, and it fails, and it doesn't even heat you, and well, I'm not going to go into all the problems, but there's these lawyers that specialize in helping you, and I think that's a good thing. But why are they necessary? They're necessary because the cars are not ready for prime time, and they're failing. Um, one of the whistleblowers said 90 Porsche Taycans, toucans, I call them toucans. The turbo without a real turbo. How do they get away with that? Anyway, 90 of those around the world have caught fire, which is way more than Tesla's. That's according to whistleblower. I don't know that for a certain fact, but it was apparently hushed up. 90 of these 120,000 plus dollar plus cars have caught on fire. Yeah, I think that's kind of call your lawyer at that point and your insurance company. So, thanks for watching the Great EV Con Game. Give me your video suggestions in the comments, and I hope you disagree with me. I really do, because we want to have an objective forum. You know, I'm not one of those people that deletes comments from there's a Reddit website. I'm not going to mention the name. They do not allow any negative comments about EVs. They delete them. They call them charger drama and stuff like that. They'll delete all negative comments that they don't agree with. Well, I'm not like that. I want you to disagree with me as long as you're factual and fair and civil about it. No profanity, no unsubstantiated claims. If you have a citation, do that. But anyway, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it.